We are a family of three living in Netherlands, exploring the world in our own new way. We are घुमक्कर bongs. चले दुनिया की सैर में. Hi friends, hope you all are having a great time. Today we have embarked on a new journey to Belgium. So come with us as we, Ghumakkar Bongs, Arika, Anushri and me, Saurav, take you to the medieval city of Ghent. तो चले दुनिया की सैर में. We are heading south from Amsterdam, crossing into Belgium near the city of Antwerp as we reach Ghent. So buckle up friends, grab your coffee and let's roll into this journey together. So next stop is Ghent. Till then, let the road unfold.
कहीं दूर दूर मंजिल पर जाएगी, कभी छाँव छाँव कहीं धूप सताएगी. लंबी लंबी दूरी भी यूं ही चलते चलते कम होती जाएगी, कभी छाँव छाँव कहीं धूप सताएगी. सफर अनजाना सा है, रास्ता बेगाना सा है, हर मोड़ मोड़ पे कुछ नया सा है, हर मोड़ मोड़ पे कुछ नया सा है.
After a scenic journey through the heart of Flanders, we arrived in one of the Belgium's most enchanting cities, Ghent. From the towering spires of St. Bavo's Cathedral to the century-old alleyways, let's step into the rhythm of the city and see where it takes us.
Our first stop of the day was the St. Bavo's Cathedral. We were stepping into one of Europe's most breathtaking spiritual landmarks in the heart of Ghent. If you are into epic architecture, mysterious art, and stories that span centuries, you are in for a treat. Long before this towering Gothic spire graced Ghent's skyline, this sacred site began as a humble wooden chapel dedicated to Saint John the Baptist, constructed in the year 942 AD. Over time, it evolved into a Romanesque church in the 12th century, traces of which still linger in the cathedral's crypt. Construction of the current cathedral began in 1274 and spanned nearly 3 centuries, finally completing in 1569. As Ghent flourished during the Middle Ages, so did the cathedral, growing taller, grander, and more intricate with each phase. The soaring choir, radiating chapels, and the majestic 89-meter spire were all a part of this architectural evolution. This cathedral isn't just a religious monument, it's a political witness. Emperor Charles V, one of Europe's most powerful rulers, was baptized here. But in 1539, following a rebellion against him, the nearby abbey of St. Bavo was dissolved and then the church officially became St. Bavo's Cathedral.
So friends, we have explored the soul of Ghent at St. Bavo's Cathedral. Now it's time to raise above it all. Welcome to the iconic Belfry of Ghent, the tallest belfry in Belgium and the proud UNESCO World Heritage Site. Standing at 91 meters, the belfry has watched over Ghent since the 14th century. Originally built to serve as a lookout for invaders, Its dragon-shaped weather vane has become a symbol of Ghent's fierce independence. You need to ascend over 300 steps to reach the top. The entry fee is Euro 10 for adults with discounts for students, seniors and groups.
Though with little Arika, we didn't venture to reach the top, ascending 300 steps. But before we go to the next part of our journey, let me tell you an interesting story about the Dragon of Ghent. Legend traces the journey of dragon from a crusader ship belonging to the Norwegian king to the grand dome of Hagia Sophia in Constantinople, present-day Istanbul. Centuries later, Count Baldwin IX brought it back to Flanders, where it eventually landed up in Bruges. But after Ghent's victory in the Battle of Beverhout in 1382, the dragon was claimed as a war trophy and placed on the belfry, where it stood ever since, guarding the city's charters and watching over its people. So next time when you are in Ghent, look up at the belfry and remember the dragon isn't just a decoration, it's a legendary guardian of the city of Ghent.
Next in our itinerary was the Stadtschau or City Pavilion. It stands as a bold fusion in the confluence modern city and medieval charm. A dramatic wooden pavilion surrounded by centuries-old towers and cobbled street. It's a vibrant gathering spot where the city's past and present meet in perfect harmony. Completed in 2012, the City Pavilion serves as a marketplace, venue for concerts and gathering in the medieval heart of the city. We made our way through the streets and stepped into the serene canal cruise, gliding through the Ghent's historic waterways. It's the best way to enjoy the charms of this medieval city. There are a number of boat agencies along the bank of the river, and a 15-minute boat ride ticket costs €10 for adults and €6.5 for the kids.
Ghent. It is a beautifully positioned city at the confluence of the two rivers, the Scheldt and the Ley. This natural meeting point gave rise to the city's ancient name Gander, which comes from a Celtic word meaning the mouth of the river. Cruising along the river, we reached to the Grassley and Cornley. These picturesque quays were once the beating heart of Ghent's medieval trade and culture. Ghent's story stretches back to the Stone and Iron Ages, but it truly flourished in the Middle Ages. By the 13th century, Ghent was one of the largest and wealthiest cities in Northern Europe, thanks to the booming cloth industry. The English wool was transformed here into luxury textile that were traded across the continent through the Hanseatic route. Ghent today is a city of culture and innovation. Fast forward to the present, and Ghent is now a vibrant university city. With over 265,000 residents, Ghent is now the capital of East Flanders and Belgium's third largest city after Brussels and Antwerp. Ghent blends its medieval charm with modern sustainability, bike-friendly streets, green initiatives, and a thriving art scene. As we cruised through the canals, we were not just sightseeing, we were time traveling. Those 50 minutes just passed like a whisker. Captain of our cruise boat was filling us up with lots of interesting stories about the medieval past. As Ghent industrialized, factories discharged waste directly into the canals, combined with household sewage and limited sanitation. The waterways became heavily polluted. Covering these canals was seen as a practical solution to hide the stench and reclaim this space for roads and buildings. As we drift through the Ghent's winding waterways, the skyline suddenly shifts. And there it is, rising above the river like a stone sentinel. Gravensteen Castle, the castle of the counts. Welcome to one of Europe's most dramatic medieval fortresses. Alright friends, now we are stepping into the mighty walls of Gravensteen. And trust me, this place is more than just one stone and shadow. It's packed with centuries of drama, rebellion and some seriously wild tales. But before we start our journey, let me tell you, tickets are very difficult to find over here. So when you come, please do book your tickets online from the Gravensteen website. Gravensteen Castle, or the Castle of the Counts, a fortress built by the Count of Flanders in the 12th century, looming over the river like a stone sentinel.
Philippe of Alsace, Count of Flanders, had just returned from the Crusades, and the fortress design was inspired by the Crusader castles he just saw in the Holy Land. But this wasn't just a home, it was a power move. The castle was meant to intimidate the rebellious citizens of Ghent, who had a habit of challenging the authority. We collected our audio guides from the counter and walked up the stairs to explore the dark secrets and the history of this castle.
It was a legend that the door was adorned with the hands of the rebellions so that no one dared to counter the Count of the Flanders. In the year 1540, the people of Ghent refused to pay a massive tribute to Emperor Charles V, who was born in the same city. Furious, Charles marched in and crushed the rebellion and forced the citizens to beg for forgiveness. Wearing nooses around their necks, a symbol of submission. Just imagine, these were those rooms where the people were imprisoned, tortured and killed. Just imagining of it, it brings chills down the spine. We continued our journey as we went on climbing the stone steps once again to the top of the castle. Yes, pushing the iron door, we have now reached to the top of the Castle of the Counts, overlooking the city of Ghent. By the 19th century, Gravensteen had lost its military purpose. It was then sold off and converted into a cotton mill during the Industrial Revolution. Just imagine, workers in these rooms were spinning the threads, which rooms were once held by knights and prisoners were tortured. This castle was nearly demolished, but thankfully it was saved and restored between the years 1893 and 1907 in a romantic Gothic style. This room was the court of the Count of Flanders. I was just imagining how many prisoners were sentenced to death from this very room. As we continued to explore, we strolled over the walls of the castle, finding new stories and secrets. And now we have reached to one of the most dangerous rooms of this castle. This looks like a church or a prayer room, but was it so? No, this was the place where the prisoners were brought just before execution. The river Ley flows just below this part of the castle, and once the prisoners prayed to God, they were executed and dropped in the river. Gravensteen was really an experience. You can't miss the charm of Gravensteen when you are in Ghent. As I told in the earlier part of this video, you have to book tickets in advance. Adult tickets are at €13 each and children below 12 are free.
Our adventure of Ghent ends here. Up next is the fairy tale beauty of Bruges. So buckle up friends, Bruges is calling and we can't wait to take you along the ride. In the meantime, please like, share and subscribe. Stay curious and inspired, and we'll see you in Bruges. Goodbye for now.
सफर अनजाना सा है, रास्ता बेगाना सा है, हर मोड़ मोड़ पे कुछ नया सा है, हर मोड़ मोड़ पे कुछ नया